Hello everyone, today I'm working on this Concord 464. It's part of the Rail Baron collection. Let's just read this label here. Very cool. So I asked the guy at the train show, does it work? He said yes. So we're about to find out. So this is a fantasy scheme. I tried to find the prototype for this, but doesn't exist. The Real Baron collection, how you can tell that it is simply the wheels are blackened. Everything's blackened. But these are good runners. So let's go try it on the track. The suspense is killing me. I mean, this could run correctly out of the box, and if that happens, I won't have much of a video for this week. It stalled a little bit there. I'm going to keep increasing the power a little bit. I mean, this thing looks new. Oh yeah, and the Real Baron collection, they have a light. So that's really neat. Okay, so that's probably why this thing was put up for sale. Because it's a little bit stally. So I guess I'm gonna have a video after all. Now, would you believe that this thing is not running because it's too new? So here's what we're gonna do. First of all, we're gonna take a good look at this and we're gonna read everything that's on the bottom. I'm just trying to get the light correct on this. But instead of saying Kado, it says made in China. So the reverse engineered exactly the Kado design. Maybe they had permission, I don't know for sure. It runs exactly like a Kado also. So I consider these to be good. The Kado ones don't have a light. These have a light. So that's really neat. So would you believe that this is not running because it's too new? So what we have to do here, I'll just take apart the back trucks and we're just gonna re-clean the wheels. And that, I'm not gonna say it's gonna 100% solve the problem, but it's gonna help. Also, it's got a knuckle type coupler. I'm gonna be pulling some really nice heavyweight cars, but they're really old, so they got Rapidos. So I have to switch it back to a Rapido. So while we're on the subject of passenger cars, this is what I found. I bought these on eBay. I paid 18 bucks for the whole lot. And I don't have the Delaware and Hudson train, but these blue cars are gonna come in handy. So before I bought this, I had four B&O cars. So these will just add to all my B&O cars. So I've got this one. There's a wheel missing. If the center wheel is missing, it's not too bad. But I think I got a replacement one. Wow, these look very rusty. Still worth fixing though, 100%. So I've also got another one. So this one's the diner. That one looks like the Pullman. There's four of these. There's observation, combination car, observation, and diner. So this one is the diner. You can see the chimneys for all the kitchen. And they all have detailed interiors. I don't know if you guys have these. These are really old River Rossi cars. Do you guys have some? I like them. So 18 bucks for 5 passenger cars. That was a good deal. I couldn't resist. Although they are going to need a little bit of fixing. But they all have their own separate interiors. So you can see all the tables and chairs, and then the kitchen area. So that's really neat. And so I have the three B&O cars plus the four I had before, so that's 7 cars. It's starting to be a nice train. And this is the Pullman Green Santa Fe, a dining car again, which looks to be in really good shape. I have a big set of these. I buy them all the time. This is a MRC Roa car. It's missing a wheel. That's okay. That's easy to fix. But also, I also like these. Really neat Amtrak car. I've got a big Amtrak train already, but still cool. And then this little baggie with axles. But I think I took them out. I put them on the train. So I don't have the Delaware and Hudson train, but this B&O train happens to be blue. So that's gonna look pretty okay together, I think. Anyways, that's what it's gonna be. This truck here is broken a bit. I don't know if you can see it, and I don't force it too much because it is broken. I don't want it to keep breaking, but it's broken here just a little bit. So I'm gonna fix that with some crazy glue. These are 30 or 40, maybe even 50 years old, so the plastic is getting brittle. So we're at that stage where you gotta handle them with care. Fortunately, Microtrains makes a replacement part. You can convert these to Microtrains trucks and couplers. It's worth doing, but it's not cheap. I mean, I paid $18 for the whole lot, and then the replacement trucks are $16. So that's something you gotta think about. And scale stuff has gotten expensive. So I'm gonna let that dry here. And let that dry for quite a while. Sometimes there's a big lot of trucks, so I'll bid on them. I found a similar looking wheel to this, so I'll just put that in there. So that should roll good. And then I checked them all out. See, this guy's got a broken coupler, so that I have to address that. But everything else seems okay. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and replace that coupler. So that's the exact same thing. You have to be very, very careful because the plastic's brittle now. So to remove these, you pretty much have to remove the roof. 100% you gotta remove the roof. Look at this pantograph there. They don't have the same detail as today, but they do have a little bit of detail. So you gotta hold this and then unscrew this end. Otherwise the little, that's actually the weight for the car. The little weight, it'll just spin in there, and that can't be good. Then we'll remove this axle. Actually, it's the other axle I need to remove. So yeah, just hold your weight, because it will just spin in there, and then unscrew this. Let's see how tight this screw is. Could be quite a bit tight. Yep, it was tight. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So the little weight comes out. Still want to pay attention not to strip them. And then the truck should come out pretty easily now. And then the little bolt comes out. And that goes on the side so you don't lose it. And I'm going to pry out these little pins there. This is the time you have to be extra careful because that puts a little bit of strain on the outside of the pocket. So that means take your time. So far so good. You just gotta work it very gently, and then we can push the little metal part down. So just take your time. There's a little spring in there, and these things are alive. There's my broken coupler. Not worried about that. I'm worrying about the little spring. So my little spring, these come alive and they fly out. I've got a couple of replacement ones. So that can stay there for now. I'm gonna go find a similar looking coupler. Then we'll put that in. I have a little box of Rapido couplers. I keep them around because my fleet, half my fleet is Rapido, half my fleet is Microtrain. So when I convert a freight car to Microtrains or an engine to Microtrains, I'll keep the Rapidos. Also, like I said before, when I see a big lot of Rapido trucks, Rapido freight trucks, even passenger trucks, they don't come up for sale very often. But when I see a huge lot, because a lot of people will do that, they buy a bunch of Microtrains couplers and they'll swap them out and then put the old Rapido trucks out for sale. I'm going to re-straighten my metal part a little bit. It is easier to put it back. So a guy needs every little help he can get. So I know I put them correctly because this little prick here is in the bottom. And then I have to bend back that metal part. Here, we focus that for you. I have to bend back that metal part. And that too, you want to take your time. But that's how that goes. Bend it back. Nice and easy. So I got it part ways done with my hands, but I'll finish it with my little pliers. That's starting to look mighty good. Pretty pleased with that. So these, they've been around for years. I like them. So these, they are Atlas or what was the other brand that marketed them? Rivarossi. And I like them. I run these with steam engines. Some of them were ran with E7s and E8s. Depends on the railroad. You don't have to put it up very tight, that screw. But it's important to have it because it's basically the weight of the car is on that. These, they're tough to pull. They call them heavyweight for a reason. Since I have the roof off, I'm going to clean it with some wax. I have some car wax handy. I'm going to clean the windows. I don't do windows. Actually, you know what else is good? This is the perfect time since I have the whole car apart to clean it. So it's going to go under with some water and some dish soap and my toothbrush, and I'm going to clean this, and then we'll do the windows. Then I'll use a little bit of the car wax just to shine up the windows just a little bit more. I just use regular car wax, turtle wax, anything you got handy. Mother's Wax is a good brand. They're all pretty good. So just regular car wax. And I'll do inside a little bit. It's hard to get to the corners so that I don't put any wax in the corners. Yeah, you just need half a drop. N scale, that's one advantage of N scale, is a little bit of material goes a long way. Yeah, I've been looking on eBay for stuff. Everything's expensive now. And you get what you pay for. I've seen people bidding on parts engines. They're bidding very high for parts engines. So those, I just move on to the next one because sometimes it's ridiculous. I have weeks like that where the parts engines are more expensive than the new ones. Right now, I've been getting emails from Broadway Limited Imports, and they have refurbished units. So I might give in and get that one of these days because the prices are pretty good. It's 220 something for a locomotive with DCC and sound. Right now, you can get an old parts engine for $200. You get outbid like crazy. So yeah, really helps the window. Put that in. Put that into the repaired car, and you'll see that looks awesome. Just gotta line it up properly there. Look at that. So I'm gonna do the rest of the cars that way. Now, where was I? Kinda lost my train of thought there. Get it? Train of thought. I got a little bit sidetracked with my passenger cars. Get it? Sidetracked. It's time to get back on track now. Back on track. So yes, this Hudson, we're gonna take the tender shell off because I want to take out the trucks and clean these wheels. The black anodizing that they use on the series is a little bit too thick, and it can interfere with electrical pickup. So to remove the tender shell, there's 4 little pins on each corner, and you can break them, so you have to go on these very easy. So I'll take my screwdriver and I'll pry down very gently because I do not want to mess this up. I go super gently with this engine because it's not running well, essentially because it's been never run. And it's been never run because it doesn't pick up electricity that well. So I've got the 2 tabs in the back, I've got them loose. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to work the front ones. So I'll just push the front ones down very gently. Now the tender shell can come out. It's tempting to pry on the sides, but be careful the little ladders. There's little ladders front and back. Yeah, you'll notice I handle this with care. I like these. Oh no, wait, there's a little LED in the back. Never noticed that before. That is awesome. Never noticed that they had a backup light like that. So everything looks good as new. So push these 2 tabs, that will release the weight. You don't have to push very hard, just to loosen it up. Do the same thing with the front tab. I've converted one of these to DCC and sound before. If you're interested in that video, I'll put a link in the description, and also in the description I'll put a link to my website. If you want to help me make more videos, come and check out my website. It's watchtrainsnow.com. So the weight, you just move it out of the way. And this is well done. As good as it can be. I can see that this little contact strip, it seems to have moved a little bit. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that. But at any rate, the reason why I wanted to remove the shell is just to push down on this pin so I can release the truck. There's just two little tabs under the retainer. Then you can release the contact strips. These are usually pretty easy to release, but today I guess they want to fight. So I'm going to keep working on that off camera. And again, because I don't want to break anything, I'll just release the wheels, and that will be that. Now these, like everything else, they have insulation. Because the wheels are so dark you can hardly see it, but this one has a little plastic insulation. That makes really no difference which side you put, because this is the part that contacts the contact strip. But I like to keep them as they were original, just OCD, I guess. So once you have your wheel in your hand, you take your rag and you just basically polish it. And you'll polish away some of the anodizing, and this will help you to get better electrical contact. So do this a couple of times on each wheels. I'm going to keep working on that off camera. I forced it a little bit because I want to do the coupler. This is a Kato Japan coupler. They're pretty good. But I want a Rapido, so I'm going to go get more Rapidos from my little box. And I'll put them back. I'll put a Rapido back on this. It would be a good time if I wanted to put microtrains, but I want to use my old heavyweight passenger car, so I need the Rapido for that. Found a little spring in my stash, and I'll just put this back in. I'm gonna have to redo it again because I don't like the way the spring ended up. There. That is gonna be sweet. I'm gonna put this back together now. Basically, I don't have to force it. Everything just falls into place. There's two little pins where these contact strips go. I'm using the wires basically as my friend. The wires line up the contact strips properly, so that's kind of cool. So there's one, and then I'll get the other one. Yeah, it looks a little funky with one side being longer than the other, but I guess that's how these go. In the Kato version, there's not a lot of wiring. There's no lights, so that makes it easier. And then these two tabs, they just lock it into place. So you shouldn't have to force it. It should go right in, nice and easy. then don't forget the little weight. That also goes back in nice and easy. This little plastic retainer really doesn't do much. And it is worth checking to make sure that the pins contact the strip. And then the shell will just go back into place. I never paid much attention to that. Just making sure that all the wires are exactly where they should go. And as I button it up, I make sure that all the wires are placed correctly. And I am careful with these two tabs. It's nice to get a newish engine, like it's never been run. And then I also clean the main drivers. This locomotive, it's got plenty of lubrication, so I don't have to touch that. So I'll do the driving wheels, I'll do them like that with my rag. And then I'll take my power pack with my test leads, and I'll move the wheels a quarter turn. And then I'll repeat the process. I'll do that 4 times. It's a good thing I did that. I noticed it's missing the traction tires. Here and here, there's a ridge to hold the traction tire in place. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some on. I've got some because I ordered a bunch a while back. So let's do that. I got my traction tires. This is the Japanese version for a C62. But this is the part number here. Kado part number if you want to order them from Kado. So I'm just going to get 2 out of the package. And then I'll show you how to put them on. So you need to pry on this little rod pin here. Pry very gently. I suppose it could run without it, but I'm planning to put, did you see that fly off? So you want to put you want to sweep your floor before you get into this. Very small pin. So now my rod is loose, and I can put my traction tire just behind it. And then I can put it into place. So that needs to stretch maybe a little bit, but it's doable. It's got plenty of stretchiness available. So that's going to take a while, but basically that's how you do it. It is not easy to do this, so I removed the excenter crank and the rod to get some room, and I have to remove the shell because this little injector here is getting in my way. With everything off, it made it way easier to get in there. I also forgot I had the little brake here, so I got it in that way. Now I can bring in my excenter crank. So the excenter crank basically goes perpendicular to the counterweight on the wheel. And on these, the eccentric crank is square, so it will find its proper spot all on its own. It's only got one place to go, and that was pretty easy. And then the little pin, which you do not want to drop this on the floor. Ask me how I know. Jeez, it's alive. Yeah, Mortsky Repair says that. Ask me how I know. He is a funny guy. So instead of fixing trains, he fixes old cars. But I enjoy watching his videos. And then we'll do the exact same thing on this side. Let's have a look at the mechanism. So these are made in China, but they mimic the Kauto mechanism perfectly. And also the way it runs mimics it perfectly. I forgot to put the little crank pin on the other side. So let's do that. This side I was able to get it in without removing the eccentric crank, so that speeded things up a little bit. It's like anything, you know, the more you do it, the more you find tricks. Okay, I haven't tested it on the track yet, but I'm pretty confident it's gonna work. And now it's time to run some trains. Look at that, the backup light works. Hours of fun. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon. I have a little bit of extra time, so I can read to you from the June 1969 model Railroader. See, the money is about 10 times more, so 60 cents is $6. America's Hobby Center, they have like a full 2-page ad. All specials. Let's check out N scale. What do we have? The 060 MRC Berkshire, a couple of Atlas engines. There's the Rapido Pacific. Those must be good runners. I don't have one. They're still huge money. A couple of HO specials. $9.99. That'd be $100 by now. There's some ads from Concord. They have the excellent PA1, and this is pretty much the same drive. I have one, but it doesn't run, you know, after 50 years. What are you gonna do? And they have a big review of the Concord Hudson. That is really cool. So this is the first version of it, which all the side rods were metal, and it did not have any connection to the tender. The tender did not pick up any electricity. So they do an in-depth review of that. I'll be sure to go ahead and read that. That is awesome. And then there's more reviews. The N-scale trucks from Boyd Models. They all have nice ads for brass. all over. Drawings for L&N engines. That is cool. Even freight cars. If you're custom painting this stuff, it's nice to have the pictures. All the way to cabooses and passenger cars. There's some layout tours. This guy is a traction. His layout is mostly traction. Ideas with some buildings. It's nice to have the photographs handy. That really looks the part with in-depth blueprints. That's really neat. I like these types of articles. They show you how to scratch build your own stuff. So they make it a little bit less expensive. So of course, to get logs for this, you go outside and you find some small trees or branches. There's a section in the back for all those hobby shops. When I bet a lot of these are closed, everything's going online now. Kind of a shame, really. Nice ad for Atlas. They have, of course, this little 060 and the Plymouth Diesel. I did a video on the 060. It was alright. And then on the back there's brass ads. Can't get enough of brass ads.